On May 2, 2011, the world's most wanted man, Osama Bin Laden, was shot dead by a U.S. Navy SEAL in Abbottabad, Pakistan. Although Operation Neptune Spear took a mere 38 minutes to carry out, it was over 10 years in the making. In execution, it was a simple operation with just 24 men on the ground. However, in its entirety, Neptune Spear was a complex mission. Join us in the story of a murderer from birth in Riyadh to death in Abbottabad.
Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama Bin Laden, the leader of al-Qaeda.
Osama bin Muhammad bin Awad bin Laden was born in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia in March 1957. He was the 17th of 52 children born to Sheikh Mohammed bin Laden, a self-made billionaire, and Saudi Arabia's wealthiest construction magnate. Sometime between mid-1988 and 1989, as Soviet forces began to withdraw from Afghanistan, bin Laden co-founded al-Qaeda with his teacher and mentor, the Palestinian Abdullah Yusuf Azzam. Gradually, bin Laden rose to the top of this new organization, a move facilitated by the assassination of Abdullah Yusuf Azzam. When bin Laden returned to Saudi Arabia, U.S. forces had deployed there from August 1990 in preparation for Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm against Iraq. Bin Laden was outraged by the presence of infidel troops so near to the Mecca and Medina holy sites and expressed open dissent. As a result, he was expelled from Saudi Arabia, and relocated with his followers to Sudan. He continued to maintain offices and guest houses in Pakistan, and multiple training camps in Afghanistan and Sudan. In May 1996, following international pressure, Sudan expelled bin Laden, and he returned to Afghanistan with his family and followers, where he was hosted by Taliban rulers. U.S. intelligence knew from the outset that Osama bin Laden was ultimately responsible for the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001. Within a month, the U.S. launched Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. The invasion of the country ostensibly sought to destroy al-Qaeda and overthrow the ruling Taliban, which was harboring its supporters. In the 10 years following 9/11, the location of Osama bin Laden was a closely guarded secret. In 2002, the CIA began to gather uncorroborated data on the nom de guerre, or al-Qaeda operative name, of Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti. In August 2010, after extensive phone tracking, Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti was followed as he drove from Peshawar to Abbottabad and then entered an imposing, fort-like compound there. The nature of the Abbottabad compound was an immediate indication that the CIA had found a high-value target, possibly the world's most wanted man, Osama bin Laden. On May 2, 2011, after many months of planning, preparation and rehearsals, Operation Neptune Spear was finally launched. At about 23:15 hours local time, the two stealth helicopters took off with the assault force from Jalalabad in Afghanistan. Within 15 minutes the two MHXs had crossed the international border and entered Pakistani airspace undetected. No sightings of them were reported in the sparsely populated areas. The first helicopter landed and dropped 4 SEALs, the interpreter and the SEAL dog handler next to the road intersection just north of the compound, and quickly reascended. The interpreter and 1 SEAL set up a security position at the road intersection to keep all vehicles or persons from approaching. The other 2 SEALs and Cairo the dog hurried toward the compound, circling clockwise, with the dog preparing to sniff out anyone who might attempt to escape. Meanwhile, the other helicopter flew over the compound and began to hover. 12 SEAL assaulters prepared to fast rope down into the courtyard. At this vulnerable point, the meticulously composed plan met a serious and unanticipated setback that placed the entire operation in jeopardy. Whilst hovering some 30-40 feet in the air, and with the engines and rotor blades fully engaged, the Chalk 1 stealth helicopter rapidly lost lift power. For a brief moment the crew faced straight down at the ground. The assaulters reached the ground, took up a tactical posture, began to move north along the wall, and toward the compound's main buildings. Upon witnessing the Chalk 1 bird's problem, and hearing the pilot's radio report, the Chalk 2 pilot decided to implement a contingency option. He landed in a field just northwest of the compound and deployed the assault team leader and 6 more remaining assaulters there. An alternate entry plan had been to use explosives to open up a small gate in the northwest corner of the main compound. Once the Chalk 2 bird had taken off, the SEALs immediately moved toward the designated gate and prepared it for breaching. Meanwhile, inside the compound things became quieter again. The Chalk 1 assaulters deployed inside courtyard found the only gate securely locked. They blew up the gate with a sharp bang that echoed through the night. Once the gate had been blown, the Chalk 1 lead assaulter pried the metal door back while others began to pass into the narrow driveway and toward the guest house. Despite a crashing helicopter and gate demolition, no activity was detected and no one had opened fire. The SEALs from Chalk 2 detonated their explosive charge on the northwest gate. After the detonation, they quickly radioed to all, failed breach. They found an unexpected surprise behind the blown gate. The doorway was completely bricked in. The next alternate entry plan was to breach the main gate on the west side of the compound. The SEALs moved toward the gate and prepared another charge. It was now 01:04 hours. Meanwhile, the Chalk 1 SEALs had approached the guest house, and found the door locked. As they attempted to tape an explosive charge to the door handle, the first gunshots of the night rang out from behind the door. The SEAL assaulters had fired their suppressed weapons in a steady stream of carefully placed rounds through the door and into the approximate origin of the AK-47 fire. All noise ceased and just inside the doorway, the SEALs found the dead body of Bin Laden's courier Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti. It was 01:05 hours. In the main building, several SEALs had entered the south door, and on the first floor encountered al-Kuwaiti's brother Abrar al-Kuwaiti, who was reportedly armed. The SEALs shot and killed Abrar and his wife Bushra in the doorway to a first-floor room. The SEALs continued to clear each room on the first floor. The SEALs took their time advancing up the stairwell, scanning carefully with their night vision goggles. Nearing the top of the stairs, the point man saw a male figure passing into a doorway to the third-floor bedroom on the right. As the SEAL entered the bedroom, he could see Bin Laden standing and holding a woman in front of him. The SEAL raised his weapon up and over the woman's head and squeezed off 2 rounds into Bin Laden's head. At approximately 01:09 hours local Pakistani time, Operation Neptune Spear had achieved its primary objective. His body lay in the pitch blackness of his third-floor bedroom with 3 bullets just above his left eye. The SEALs took out his DNA for definitive DNA identification. By 01:16 the SEALs placed the charges onto the crashed helicopter for demolition, while the other helicopter was circling nearby, waiting for word to return. After the explosion, the Chinook circled around and landed outside the compound. The SEALs quickly uploaded and the Chinook departed at about 01:38. The total time between infil and exfil was no more than 38 minutes.